Welcome. If you're a woman who has a sense that there's more out there for you, you're in the right place. I'm Whitney Baker, host of the Electric Ideas podcast. Somewhere along the line of work and kids, life carried on, but I lost track of my truth. I'm on a reflective journey, and that's what this podcast is all about. Each week, I interview a woman who is lighting her own path and offering others hope. Before our conversation ends, we'll share a reflective question for you to explore. Sometimes all we need is a jolt, a fresh idea, an aha moment that connects us to a sense of possibility. This, my friends, is what I call an electric idea. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Whitney Baker. Throughout recent weeks in the Electric Ideas community, there's one resounding message that keeps coming up. I feel like if I hear the same message from multiple people, or for instance, get a book recommendation for the same book from more than one person, it's something for me to pay attention to. So this message that keeps coming up as we move into the holiday season, which I know can feel a little bit chaotic, especially for the caregivers in our community, is to give ourselves permission to do one thing less. So I'm taking that advice in stride, and I'm sharing a replay of a podcast episode today that I believe is worth a listen. This episode is timely because it's about gratitude. So before I connect you with the replay, I will share one fresh quote about gratitude that I've been thinking about this week. This is from Sri Chinmav. It says, "Gratitude is the sweetest thing in a seeker's life, in all human life. If there is gratitude in your heart, then there will be tremendous sweetness in your eyes." Whether we are traveling or celebrating this week, or it's just a typical day, be careful what you're on the lookout for. When we look for what's going right, what's beautiful right in front of us, then, just like this quote says, we're likely to have more sweetness in our eyes. Okay, hope you enjoy the show. For those American friends celebrating, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're surrounded with people you love and eating all sorts of delicious foods. This is a season where many of us are invited to reflect on what we're thankful for. And I want to start this episode out by saying a sincere thank you to you, my listeners. I continue to pour so much heart and soul into Electric Ideas, and I love it. And I'm here to stay and I'm here to serve. But I have to tell you, I so appreciate all the support and feedback. To everyone who has reviewed, liked, or shared this podcast in any fashion, or even just dropped me a line with feedback, thank you. Not only does it fuel me, but it helps other women who might be inspired by what I'm doing find me. Thank you. All right. So today, I want to talk about gratitude. And let me just get ahead of this before you roll your eyes, because yes, I know it might seem very cliche for this time of year, but guess what? I don't care. I love it. Seriously, I don't know if you know that song, but it like pops into my mind. I could talk about gratitude all day and all night. I think practicing grateful living is a lifestyle choice, a spiritual choice, and a portal to living more abundantly. But the key word here is practice versus something you think about once a year. My perspective on gratitude has been deepened through a scholar and Benedictine monk named David Steindl-Rast. If you're not familiar with his work, you're in for a treat today. He is often touted as the father of gratitude. So let's start here. Here's something David Steindl-Rast says over and over again. The root of joy is gratefulness. It is not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. I want to get into this because it is such an important perspective. Steindl-Rast says one common theme we share across humanity is this urge to be happy, even though, of course, this looks differently for all of us. But it's fair to argue we all want to experience joy in our lives, right? So what's the connection between gratitude and happiness? Well, here's the important distinction Steindl-Rast makes. Most people think, okay, when I feel happy, then I will feel grateful because I'm happy. That seems intuitive enough. We all like feel-good feelings. But here's where the powerful shift happens. It's when you look at it the other way around. When you take a closer look, we actually find that people are happy because first, they are grateful. Let me bring this to life a little bit with the help of Steindl-Rast's perspective. He illustrates this point in one of his most famous teachings. And He points out that we all know people who have love and their material needs met, probably everything that they need to be happy, but they're not happy because they want more or something different. And I want to pause here a minute and say, don't worry, this is not the place where I'm going to guilt you into living like a monk. I'm not saying you can't want things in life. We're humans. We all crave growth, expansion, up leveling, and you are worthy of a beautiful life, whatever that looks like for you. I think God, the universe, nature, whatever you believe in, whatever you connect with, wants us to enjoy life and prosper. But here's what I think is true. True wealth, true abundance in this lifetime grows from a place of deep gratitude for the blessings that are already on your table. Okay, so I just outlined the person who you'd think would be happy, but somehow they're kind of in this lack mentality, this place of needing more or something different before they feel happy. Maybe even a sense of, I'm not enough or I'll never have enough. So coming back to Steindl-Rast's example, here is the contrast to this lack mentality. Steindl-Rast points to people, and we're all going to have people who come to mind here, who have suffered hardships in their lives. Maybe they're experiencing hardships right now, but these people exude more peace and joy in the long term because they walk the path of grateful living. I'm not saying they should gloss over their hardships, but more so that they acknowledge their hardships in the context of practicing grateful living. So maybe a family member lost their job this month, but you're grateful you've saved enough to get through the holidays comfortably. When you move through life with an eye for gratitude and appreciation, you grow from a place of enoughness and wholeness versus a sense of scarcity. So much magic lives here. So how can we live gratefully? I think Steindl-Rast would say you do this by greeting each day as the gift it is, by moving through the world in a way where we don't take things for granted. I want to share something actionable that he teaches. He calls for us to have stop signs in our lives, and he illustrates this through a really simple story. He spent some time traveling in a part of Africa where there wasn't running water. And after his travels, he came home, and at first he'd turn on his faucet. He'd be like, wow, water right at my fingertips. Wow. But like many of us, even a monk admitted that after a few weeks, the appreciation wore off. So you know what he did? He put a small sticker on his faucet because he wanted to remind himself to be grateful for the amazing abundance of something that lots of us take for granted. Today, I invite you to reflect on how this might be able to apply in your own life and also be something that you're thinking about across all the upcoming holiday cheer I hope that you have in store. I believe the universe wants our lives to be beautiful and abundant, but it's our responsibility to build in stop signs. When we don't stop to be grateful for what's already in front of us, we're shutting our eyes to the richness and the beauty each day of our lives can bring. So as we're close to closing, I want to leave you with one of my favorite David Steindl-Rast quotes, and I hope it speaks to you as much as it speaks to me. He says, "We are never more than one grateful thought away from peace of heart. Everything is a gift. The degree to which we are awake to this truth is a measure of our gratefulness, and gratefulness is a measure of our aliveness." I hope this episode inspires you to open up to a broader concept of grateful living as something that can be embraced in your everyday life. Can you look at your life and see where you can greet what already exists with a greater sense of appreciation? Like, wow, I get to hug my daughter today. Wow, I still get to see the word mom pop up when my phone's ringing. How lucky am I? I always end my episodes with an inspiring question for you to reflect on, journal on, or hey, maybe even have a rich conversation around the table about this season. So I leave you here. Ask yourself this: where can I place a gratitude stop sign in my life? Thank you so much for tuning in. I am in such an exciting place of expansion, and I have a favor to ask. If this episode resonated with you, can you share it with one person? One person in your life who would also be open to living life with a greater sense of possibility. Either way, thanks for listening in, I hope you have an inspired day. I'm so glad you joined me today. If you're looking for more, feel free to connect with me on Instagram at @WhitneyWoman. And if you enjoyed the show, I invite you to support me by leaving a review or sharing it with a friend. Hope you have an inspired day.